So the next thing we're going to be working on are the speaker grill covers. So we have our original pattern that we used to cut the front. We're going to use this scrap piece that was an experimental piece that I was using, and we're going to actually trim it down to match this size. We're going to go in and take about a ½ inch off as well, so that it's inset just a bit, maybe just a quarter inch off, so that the grill screen is inset just a little bit. We're going to use hardwood black walnut to make the grill screen edges. So hopefully in the end it'll come out sort of matching the darker pieces, striations in the grain with this zebra wood, and I think it'll be a nice contrast. So those are the next steps we're going to take. We're going to be making the pattern to then go ahead and make the grill screens. So here we go. Okay, so this is a multi-step process to get this blank now down to just the thin frame. So the frame is going to overall be about 3/8 of an inch wide, and it's made out of a ½ inch solid walnut. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a 1/4 inch spiral or upcut bit. You'll notice on the fence there's actually a gap, and that's so you can move the fence up around the bit if you needed to. But in this case, we put a piece of 1/8 inch maple across here just to make the fence solid, so that as we're going around these curves, we're not varying the distance from the edge because we're running into that. I have taped down these, I've left these two layers together just simply because the fence is so tall I don't want it hitting the table. And then the whole piece is taped down, double-sided tape down to the table. What we're going to do is we're going to slowly, about a 32nd of an inch at a time, go around this until we cut out just a 3/8 inch frame. After we get the frame cut out, we'll then use a rabbet bit to rabbet out the back of it to get about a 1/4 inch rabbet in this ½ inch material. We'll do a little round over on the outside and then a slight chamfer on the inside edge. All of that's pretty delicate work because once we get this cut down to a 3/8 inch frame, obviously you can imagine that's going to be a fairly fragile piece. So every cut we take will be a 32nd of an inch or less, just so we don't break anything or tear it up as we go along. There's our first pass. We'll do that over and over again until we get all the way through. We're gonna start taking off very small amounts of material at a time. This piece is extremely fragile. It did break once. I told you it wouldn't break. The other one didn't. The grain was weak right here and we got a split, so that's been glued back up. I don't think you'll be able to see it after all said and done, but we want to be very careful. So we're really looking to take off just like a 32nd of an inch with each pass. Then we'll raise it a 32nd, take another pass, raise it a 32nd until we get about halfway through or about a 1/4 inch deep on this. So that's what we're going to do. Before we get started, I'm sure there are going to be many people out there that are saying this is exceptionally dangerous. I'm getting my hands very close to the cutter. And with this small and fragile of a piece, quite honestly, there may be a better way to do this, but I don't know what it is. So we're just going to take our time. We're going to be incredibly careful. I've been using this router table for years now. I feel confident with what I'm doing, but please understand this could be a very unsafe procedure. And if you're not familiar with a router table or you haven't used one to any great degree, I would advise maybe finding a different way to do this or coming up with a better plan than I've come up with. So. There's our first pass. We'll just keep doing that until we get it down to where we want it. Okay, now we've got our 1/4 inch roundover bit in there. We're going to go around again, just make a couple of very light passes and round off this outer corner. About all we want right there. All right, and now we're set up. We're going to do a slight chamfer on the inside edge. All right, there we go. That is our inside chamfer. And now just a whole lot of sanding and refining to get it nice and smooth and uniform. Looks like we got one little bad area. Hopefully we can put it straight. I don't know if you can see that little nick right there. Hopefully we can straighten that out and it'll become invisible. Okay, so the next step in this process, and this is going to help us sand it and refine it. What we want to do is cut out an insert that will drop down in this rabbet. Later on, it'll be used to hold our grill cloth material, but for right now, we want to just keep it as a solid piece so that it's setting inside there and sort of reinforcing and strengthening this piece. Okay, so here's the piece we cut on the bandsaw, and now we're going to just see if it fits. My guess is we're going to have to go to the sander and shape it a little. Oh, nope. I'd say that's a pretty darn good fit. And so now what we have is something that's kind of just rigided this up so that when we're sanding on it, we're not quite as worried about it flexing, getting out of shape, and breaking on us. So we're going to cut out the internals for these grill screens. There we have it. That will be our grill screen frame. We got our little MDF frame cut out, which you can tell that's going to definitely be more solid than actually the walnut is. And so tomorrow we'll stretch our fabric, put some adhesive on here, some spray adhesive. We'll glue this down, make sure we get a good bond with the fabric. We'll come back and trim the fabric to fit this exactly, and then we'll just insert right into the frames. As you can see, you got a slight reveal there, and all this will be the cloth. Panel, and it should slip right inside the external ring. And now we have our 2 grill screws. And these are the Tangband W4 1879s. So as you can see, they have this really gorgeous kind of cream cone with a separated voice coil there in the middle. There's also these are bamboo, so there's a slight little black flecks in the cones I think are really cool. Full cast housing, and then this really kind of, I think, cool and sexy magnet set up on the back. And let me tell you, for a 4-inch full range, these suckers are heavy. I am super excited about getting these into the build and stepping back and take a look at them. So what I'm going to be working on next is, I'll probably do it off camera, but I'm going to do some test cuts to make sure I get the radius for my holes and the offset so that I can flush mount these in the speaker cabinets. So I'm going to do a couple of mock-ups, make sure I get that right. Then we'll come back and I'll actually show you as I cut the holes on the speaker boxes themselves and sort of give you some idea of what these things look like as they get mounted in the cabinet. So, a couple of things have happened since we've been off camera. We've gotten all of the outside veneers sanded down to 320 grit, used some compressed air to blow out all the loose dust, and we got the speakers mounted, the speaker grills mounted. As you can see, there's little 1/4-inch brass pins that attach just in 3 different places, holding those on, and of course they just pull right off. But I decided to go with this standoff effect. I just think it looks a little bit nicer. Certainly the speakers can be run with or without the grills. We've also got the binding post holes drilled, and now it's a matter of putting on some finish and watching all this wood grain really pop, which I'm super excited about. And then we'll get the electronics wired up, the speakers put in, the binding post put in, and get these things ready to run. Get our binding post in here. Here we are. Finished product. For those of you that made it through the whole build, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Hope you found it enjoyable. This is one of my first attempts at a video and I'm still learning, so thanks for sticking through the rough spots. Now get out there in the shop and build something. If you enjoyed this video, as always, I would appreciate it if you'd smash that like button and remember to subscribe for future content from Shoshin Woodworking.